Ayo, what is going on, you guys? Alejandro here, and welcome back to another episode of Magayon. In this episode, we're going to be detailing the old financial district. So if you haven't watched how I built this financial district, click the link down below, and don't forget to subscribe so you'd be notified whenever I upload a brand new video. Let's get started. So first of all, if you haven't seen the last episode, I highly recommend you watch them because I explained the planning and thought process behind this. But today I'm going to go a little bit more into detail while I do a lot of detailing. So now you're seeing me build this Apple store in the heart of the financial center. It's the Apple store from New York in Manhattan, 55th Street. I'm not quite sure. But it's from there, and that's that. Now I'm using these kind of New York, Chicago, European assets because this city right here, this financial center, is located in. I'm taking inspiration from Binundok in Manila. Here it is. It's where the foreign Chinese settlers stayed outside of the walled city of Intramuros, which is owned by the Spanish. So they allocated this space for the Chinese to live in, which is Binundok, and taking inspiration from that, kind of the people who are not Spanish, and here the people who are not citizens of Lacandura or the Filipinos, the purebloods, they're not allowed to own any land inside the walled city. It's kind of like China, like the Forbidden City. Only back then, only the people who live there are allowed to go inside unless you have a specific purpose to go in. But now it's open to the public, and here I'm building this canal right here. This is a sapang. This is an estero actually, but estero is Spanish, and since we're building a Philippine never colonized, I call this a sapa, which is a small creek. So this is Sapang Magdala. Magdala is the part of this settlement. Well, actually, the settlement is the entire eastern part across the river. They allow that for foreign settlers to own land. And this part of Silangan, which is the east, is owned by the British, the Europeans, and the Americans. Because this is going to be home to a lot of foreign nationals. We're going to have Europeans, British. First, we're going to have Chinese settlers, which is going to be the oldest Chinatown in the world, which is taking inspiration from Manila once again and Binundok, Chinatown. We're going to be building those in future episodes. And I asked you guys on the poll which one I should build first, the Chinatown or the port of Magayon. So if you haven't voted it yet, hit subscribe so you'd be part of the decision-making process of this series. Now I'm just doing a little bit of detailing for this Apple Park right here. And this Apple Park is underground and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, and Apple is one of the biggest things here in Magayon because why not? Everyone here owns Apple mostly. But yeah, now we are going to be building another park. And this park right here is the park at the center of most of the old banks, the oldest buildings. You'd see the architecture here as it's giving me 1920s vibes. It's giving me New York, Chicago, and it's giving me kind of Hong Kong too. Once I place down the electrical poles, it's gonna feel like Hong Kong. It's gonna feel like actually Manila because the streets here are narrow, as you can see. Those are one-way roads with bike lanes on the sides, and I'm not sure if I should keep it that way, but it is what it is for now. And I'm adding in this decal that is red brick or something, and it kind of adds to the old-timey feel of this. And adding in the shrubberies and trees just makes this place a little bit more, it looks nice. And across the street right there, that avenue on the left, that tram is one of the oldest tram lines in the city. Because in Manila, we actually used to have a tram system, a citywide tram network for the city. But now it's gone because a lot of things have changed. After World War II, this entire place was decimated. The whole of Manila was decimated. But in this alternate reality, it wasn't. It's like Paris when it wasn't bombed by during World War II because it was deemed too beautiful to be bombed. And yeah, so Magayon is kind of like that as well because we're also taking inspiration from Paris because of the plan. We're taking inspiration from Daniel Burnham, who's hugely inspired by Persian urban planning. And also the trees, I mean the lampposts, are going to be from Paris and San Francisco, because I want to give it a little bit of those 1920s vibe, because this is one of the oldest districts of the city outside of the walled city, because the walled city is going to be the oldest city, but it's gonna give us forbidden city vibes, like specific architecture kind of stuff, this and that. So while placing down these what do you call these electrical poles, which are quite huge, by the way, in the scale of this city, but well, if you know what I mean, I was thinking on where to place them. I was thinking I should probably place them everywhere because that's where they are in real life, but I thought that this is where the rich Europeans live, and this is quite a historic center, so some parts of it are not going to have electric poles, like along the avenue or the boulevard, the Magdala. That's a Magdala Boulevard, which is, I'm going to be naming the streets later in the episode. And yeah, that is we're going to be having specific lines on specific places. The poles are not going to be everywhere. And now you're seeing me build this tram line. This tram line is going to connect the future city centers along the old city centers, because we have a tram line going into the walled city, a tram line going into the Magdala Financial Center, the foreign settlement, and we have one tram stop going into the central train station. I still have no asset for the train station, but I kind of want it to be kind of old-timey, but it's giving me 1920s, late 40s, post-World War II kind of vibe. So if you have any suggestions on what asset I should use for the train station, hit me up in the comments. So yeah, now I'm just adding in these arrows because I opt for doing these myself because I want to give a little bit more control over what I do. And yeah, I'm going to be changing these tram lines to only go straight through, and they won't be able to turn left or right because it's quite messy, and they in fact won't be going through them. The lines going through them won't turn left or right because there's one tram line going across the Magdala Boulevard or Avenue, and there's one going across this is a radial road, by the way. It's the one going from the capital out into the outskirts of the city. I still have no name for this, but if you have any suggestions, hit me up in the comments. Now I'm doing these detailings. We only have like specific pedestrian lanes, because if you have pedestrian lanes on all sides, like, traffic is gonna be kind of bad, and there are only specific parts of the intersection that has traffic lanes, which are the places that people would walk most of the time on, and that is across the creek and across the park. So yeah, so that we can, minimize the disruptions to the flow of cars. Even though it's a very pedestrian centered place, the cars still are kind of important because this is where the rich people live. And the tram system here going through Magdala Street is not actually that functional. It's kind of like only for the aesthetics, because if you've seen like the type of trams we place there, those are kind of like old styles. Those are from San Francisco, because in Manila I saw these pictures of it from the past, and they are like from 1920s, and after World War II, yeah, they were gone. But the ones here on the central boulevard, this bike lane, tram road kind of thing, we have newer ones because they have to go much faster. Now we're going to be going into the urban planning of this place, and it's going to take inspiration from New York, because in New York they have like these numbered system: First Street, Second Street, Third Avenue, Fourth Avenue, like numerically, chronologically arranged. And yeah, going from the capital, from north to south, those are going to be streets. And no, those are going to be from east to west, those are going to be streets, and from north to south, those are going to be lanes. So that is First Street because it's the first street. Second Street and Third Street is Magdala Lacandura Boulevard or something, and this is 4th Street, and they're going to be changed if they're prominent. They're going to be changed, their names are going to be changed from like 5th Street to a special kind of street. As you can see, that's 5th Street, and 6th Street has been changed into Lacandura Magdala Avenue. So yeah, I just forgot the names of them, but that's how they are. They're not going to stay the same names. They're going to be changed if something significant happened on them. It's named after a specific person or a specific moment. And we have this esplanade right here. You haven't seen the detailing there, just saw me write the Lacandula Esplanade or something. It's a waterfront park that goes across the other side of the walled city, and it's going to be a major tourist attraction. We're going to have a Chinatown like across that avenue right there, that avenue that goes from the temple all the way through the city. We're going to have a Chinatown there, and if you haven't still voted for the poll, vote now so that you'd know what we'll see. Would rather see the port, or if you'd rather see the Chinatown first. But either way, I have ideas for them, and I'm quite excited. So now I'm just, I don't know how to count, so the numbering here is quite wrong. But yeah, we are actually nearing the end of this episode. I'm just going to be changing these names, and these roads are going to go straight through. They're going to be this is going to be named like that, and also change the names of the river. So that is Tiko River, because Tiko is curved, and yeah, Wan Xingxi, I guess, commented in the last episode that I should name that Bicol River, because one of the biggest rivers in Bicol is Bicol River. And yeah, I also changed the name of that bridge to Lacandura China Friendship Bridge, because we actually have a bridge like that under construction here in the Philippines. Here it is, and it's going to connect Intramuros to Binondo, and that's kind of nice. Once again, I'm here to tell you guys that this video, this takes a lot of planning, and making these videos take long times to produce, especially from researching to building, recording these episodes, the time lapse, all the way into editing, which sometimes I have a difficult time because I have so many takes, so many different trials and errors. But in the end, I think we did pretty well. I'm so excited for you guys to see the cinematics, and some of you guys have said that they're getting bored of the music and the cinematics, because honestly I am too. I've been using the same music for the past few episodes, and I'm gonna be shaking things up a little bit in the next episodes. So if you want to support this series, consider becoming a patron on patreon.com/Calajandro and become an official citizen of Magayon. Get access to Patreon only exclusive, like the map of Magayon at 2,000 subscribers, question marks. But if you can't, that's okay. You can still show your support by leaving a like, comment down below what you want to see next, and of course, don't forget to subscribe. You can also follow me on Instagram to get a closer look at Magayon and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, and of course, once again, don't forget to subscribe. Only 30% of you guys are subscribed, so if you guys hit that red button down there, it would mean a lot to me, and of course it would mean a lot to us. And yeah, this is Calajandro signing off. Bye.